Let me tell you something they never put in the homebuyer brochures. You move into suburbia, you expect a nosy neighbor, maybe the odd rogue raccoon, not a full-on Cold War with a self-appointed queen in pressed slacks and a death grip on a clipboard. But here we are. And if you'd told me buying an old house next to my own would set off a chain reaction of sabotage, lies, and the kind of suburban drama that'd make reality TV look subtle, I would have laughed you off my porch. But, oh man, I lived it. It started on one of those Texas spring days where the weather's playing roulette, either crisp like the last breath of winter, or smacking you in the face with summer heat just for fun. I was standing under 2 pecan trees so old they looked like they'd seen the whole town built around them, eyeing this house that, let's be honest, looked like it needed life support. Porch sagging, paint peeling off in sheets, shutters hanging sideways, but you know what? I saw something in it. I always do. Occupational hazard of being an architect, maybe. This wasn't some fixer-upper for quick cash, though. I'd lived next door for 6 years, had a little studio busting at the seams, and I wanted to stretch out, make something real lasting. Seller was Mr. Howell. 80-something, ex-military, sharp as ever, wore flannel in August, fed every stray cat for miles. Good man. The handshake deal felt like something out of an older, better movie. We barely finished our tour before the trouble rolled up in a silver SUV. Windows tinted, tires too clean for a Texas road. Out steps Karen, because of course, her name is Karen, smiling like she's auditioning for a toothpaste ad. You ever meet someone whose eyebrows are so precise you know they plan every minute of your misery? Yeah, that's Karen. Mr. Howell, can I speak with you a moment? She ignored me like I was a potted plant. Howell just shrunk, suddenly very interested in the lint on his sleeve. She glides over, heels power walk all business. I hear you're selling, and I hope that's just a rumor. Howell says nope, he's done, ready to go, and that's that. Now she finally looks at me, well through me, and asks who I am, voice so cold I swear I saw frost on the pecan leaves. Buyer, neighbor, architect. She doesn't take my hand, doesn't blink. You're buying this house? Yeah, that's the plan, I tell her. She launches into this lecture about community standards and neighborhood harmony, rattling off rules like she wrote the 10 Commandments herself. I just smile and remind her that my house and this one are outside her precious HOA's jurisdiction. Been that way since before the first mailbox went up around here. But you know these types. You may not be under our jurisdiction, but you're adjacent, she says, squeezing that clipboard like she's about to strangle it. That carries responsibilities. I nearly laughed. Ma'am, character doesn't come from matching mailboxes. If looks could kill, I'd be mulch. When she finally storms off, Howell gives me this look like, sorry man, she's been trying to get her nephew to buy the place, wants it for the HOA. Figures, right? 2 days later, my realtor calls sounding nervous. Turns out, Karen's already been working the phones, hinting at legal complications, trying to scare folks off, talking about noise ordinances, threatening compliance complaints. No formal complaint, just the classic whisper campaign. I was mad, but not surprised. I told my agent to start the paperwork anyway. I wasn't backing down, no way. Now, let me tell you about living next to an HOA you don't belong to. They never attack you head-on. No, it's always in the shadows. Like termites in your beams, you don't see the damage till things start to sag. A week after I signed the agreement, people stop waving. Cars speed past my driveway, like they're afraid their tires might catch my outsider germs. Even old Mr. Lawn Equipment looks the other way. Then the cherry on top, an anonymous email with a blog post, headline reads, "Is there a hidden environmental hazard in our neighborhood?" Whole articles about changes in soil density, unreported geological shifts. All vague, all pointing to my property. It's signed by Paul Garrett, independent eco-journalist. Never heard of him. Supposedly there's a secret engineering assessment that says my land is unstable and might collapse into the HOA if anyone dares touch it. No sources, no evidence, just fear wrapped up in pseudoscience. 2 days later, that posts everywhere, private Facebook group, email chains, flyers under wiper blades at the grocery store. Karen's reposted it herself with safety should always come before development. I nearly smashed my laptop. So I do what any self-respecting nerd would do. I dig. Turns out Paul Garrett is a stock photo from an old landscaping brochure, and the blog domain's registered under a shell email. I start calling engineering firms, and on my 3rd try, I get a junior tech who says, yeah, a company called K West Community Services ordered a basic slope review. That's Karen, all day long. Presidents love fake LLCs. I hire a legit geotech team. They core sample, test, and deliver the driest 30-page report I've ever read. Verdict: land stable as a church on Sunday. I blast that report everywhere. HOA Facebook bulletin boards. Printed out pages stuck to the clubhouse door. Since we're sharing soil reports, here's mine, from an actual geologist. Karen's blog post? Poof, deleted. But the doubt's already out there. I catch neighbors whispering in the coffee shop. One jogger politely asks if I'm worried about the ecosystem. Sure, fixing a porch is apparently the start of ecological collapse now. At this point, I realize Karen doesn't want to stop me. She wants to isolate me. Make me the boogeyman, a threat to the character of the neighborhood. It's psychological warfare, garden gloves edition. So, I fight back the only way I know, dragging her tricks into the light. A few quiet days pass, and I almost think maybe she's moved on to harassing someone over a slightly too blue Christmas light. Nope. Sabotage is next. One morning I pull into my drive, and there's a white utility van. Two guys in vests unloading trash bins and lumber from the shed in my backyard. HOA ordered a cleanup, the tall one says. For what HOA? I ask. This lot's being prepped for reintegration. That word rings like a bad omen. I march past, see the fence half pried up, shed open, chairs, bricks, grill all tossed in the van. I start recording. You got 1 minute to show me who sent you, because I sure as hell didn't. They're sweating now. Guy with the backwards cap hands me a dispatch sheet. No letterhead, just remove unapproved refuse, coordinate with HOA rep, signed K. West. I snap pictures, tell them to put it all back, or I'm calling the cops. They scramble, vanish so fast they forget to close the gate. 15 minutes later, I send it all to my lawyer, who tells me, document everything. This stinks of a setup. Sure enough, next day, I get a letter from the HOA, accusing me of unauthorized demolition, improper disposal. The attached photo? My fence, half dismantled, snapped during their so-called cleanup. A classic play. Create the problem, then pin it on the enemy. But I've got time-stamped photos, security cam footage, the work order, all handed to the cops and my attorney. HOA says they're investigating internally. Yeah, and foxes are great at guarding henhouses. But it rattled them. Karen stops walking her dog past, her decorative patrols vanish, the neighborhood group chat goes silent. But I know her type. Karen's not gone, she's regrouping. Bureaucratic fatigue is her strategy. Smother me in paperwork until I either snap or trip up. So when I get her next letter, slick, civil, all community partnership and shared values, I laugh. My lawyer and I rewrite her offer, slip in a clause that nullifies the agreement if they ever file a complaint or touch my property records, and crucially, have them acknowledge, in writing, that I'm outside their jurisdiction. Karen signs, bites the bait, and 3 days later, slaps me with a violation for my non-taupe fence. We haul it into court. Judge reads the agreement, smirks, and rules in my favor. HOA's leverage, poof, gone, contractually severed. Suddenly, the neighborhood's whispering about why Karen signed something that undercut her own power. Even Brad, a board member who looks like he's still waiting for the NFL to call, starts liking my posts, and then sends me a DM. Let's talk. Now I know the tide's turning. Karen goes quiet. Too quiet. Her SUV's gone, her dog walker's some other poor soul, clipboard in hiding. That's when Brad slips me a spreadsheet and a thumb drive. Turns out, for years, HOA funds have been funneling to the same handful of landscaping companies. No websites, sketchy addresses, and oh look, same last name as Karen's nephew. We're talking $72,000 in 4 years, for things like irrigation at a park with no running water and tree pruning during months with no trees trimmed. Classic shell game. I bring it to my lawyer. We skip City Hall, hire forensic accountants. 2 weeks later, the bomb drops. All 3 companies, same owner, Nathan West, Karen's nephew. We send the report to the Ethics Committee, Attorney General, local news. The HOA board gets hit with an audit, Karen gets subpoenaed, board members start resigning. Health reasons, family moves, you know the drill. Karen tries to play martyr, posts about witch hunts and community love. The comment section turns on her, hard. People post photos of the crumbling playground, ask where their dues went, share screenshots of beautification, grants for shrubs that never existed. Emergency meetings, yelling, suspensions. Karen's out, formally finally. And for the first time, the neighborhood breathes. Except, she can't help herself. A week later, flyers go up for a community integrity rally. guest speaker, former HOA President Karen West. She's not done. She's just switching strategies, riling up the crowd, trying to become a folk hero. Brad records the rally. Karen's up there in white, preaching about outsiders and the soul of the neighborhood. Some folks buy it, most don't. More trash lands on my lawn, a sign zip-tied to my mailbox. If you hate rules, move to the woods. I make a 30-minute video, every document, every lie, every false violation, Brad's interview, even Mr. Howell in Dallas calling her the kind of person who thinks boundaries are optional. I put it all online. It blows up. 83,000 views, local news coverage, emails from strangers in 3 states saying, "We're fighting our own Karens." Karen posts her half-baked response, calls it a vendetta, claims the video's fake. But nobody's buying it anymore. People want meetings recorded. One guy starts a petition to disband the HOA. Karen's house has a for sale sign. She's finished, even if she can't admit it yet. Then the city clerk calls, sweet voice, sharp as a tack. "We've concluded the audit. The findings are extensive. HOA gets suspended. No meetings, no fines, no collecting dues." Karen tries to fight the ruling, gets officially barred from any HOA role for a decade. Someone, not naming names, tapes a copy of the city's letter to her door. The neighborhood finally relaxes. Lawn chairs out, kids playing, real conversations instead of threats about mailbox colors. Me? I keep fixing up the house, the one nobody wanted. Sun hits it just right, and for the first time, I see what it's meant to be, not just shelter, but a clean slate. I open the new addition as a workshop. People come for building tips, legal templates, sometimes just stories. The neighborhood that once stared me down now nods in solidarity. Even Marlene, queen of banana bread, brings snacks. Karen moves out, quietly. The couple that buys her place turns the lawn into wildflowers. Some days I sit on the porch and watch the wind in the grass. No rules, just roots. One day I find a note in my mailbox, no name, just you one. "I still think you were cruel, but maybe you were right." It's Karen, I know it. And yeah, maybe I was ruthless. Had to be. Because sometimes you don't get to choose your battles, only how hard you fight. So here's my question, what would you have done? When does standing your ground cross the line into cruelty? Is it justice if it's ugly? Share your stories, your battles, your thoughts about right, wrong, and what it takes to claim a little peace in this world. Let's talk about what community really means.